Hello everyone. Today we are going to show something about the impact of fiscal policy and monetary policy on investment of China. These are my group members. Our presentation today will divide into 6 parts: introduction, analytical model, the impact of fiscal and monetary policy on Chinese inbound investment, the impact of fiscal policy and monetary policy on Chinese outbound investment, the impact of fiscal and monetary policy on China's domestic investment. Finally is the conclusions and advice. Firstly, let me introduce the introduction part to you. Monetary policy and fiscal policy are the same. Both are tools used by the government to control the macroeconomy. Difference in macroeconomic regulation and control. In terms of regulation objects, executive department, and so on. Monetary policy refers to the policy of the central bank, such as the People's Bank of China, to regulate the money supply through price means, cutting or raising interest rate, or quantitative means, raising or lowering the reserve ratio. Fiscal policy refers to policy that affect macro demand or supply by fiscal-related government departments, such as the Ministry of Finance of China, by adjusting tax rates or increasing or decreasing government spending, such as building public facilities. For the background information, as the largest emerging country in the world, China is different from other developed countries in many aspects, such as population and marketization. The interaction of China's macroeconomic policies may have its own mechanisms or characteristics. The impact of monetary policies and fiscal policies as an important tool for macroeconomic regulations and control on Chinese investment. The Chinese government adopts an expansionary fiscal policy. The government mainly uses tax cuts and increase spending to expand the fiscal deficit, increase and stimulate social aggregate demand, and lower the RMB exchange rate, which will increase China foreign investment. The Chinese government adopts an expansionary monetary policies, and the central bank will lower interest rates, which will lead to an increase in the money supply and aggregate demand, which will increase foreign investment in China. When money policy enters a flow trap, domestic investment in China will increase. Next, let Zhou Jia introduce the second part, model analysis, to you.
We choose the Keynes model to analyze our micro problems, and I'm going to introduce the Keynes model. Keynes model includes simple Keynes model and complete Keynes model. For simple Keynes, first, suppose there are only 2 sectors for society, households and business. You can say Y equals C plus I, which representative consumption and investment. Y equals C plus S, which representative consumption and solving. If the government implements loose monetary and fiscal policies, reducing deposit interest rates and reserve requirements, reducing people's willingness to solve, it will have no money to follow into the market, and thus both economic growth, will also affecting Chinese investment. Second, now add government activity and foreign trade. Suppose there are 4 sectors of household, business, government, and foreign trade. You can say Y equals C plus I plus G plus X, which representative government and exports. Y equals C plus S plus T plus M, which representative taxes and imports. Assuming that T plus M is less than G plus X, it indicates that the government is adopting relatively loosening fiscal and monetary policies, and the RMB exchange rate may decline relatively as a drop in the cost of foreign investment to attract foreign investment in China. And for complete Keynesian, a complete Keynesian model of a closed economy usually consists of 3 markets: product markets, money markets, and labor markets. When the 3 markets the simultaneous equilibrium, the trouble equilibrium model is called the complete Keynesian model. Under the condition of simultaneous equilibrium of money market and product market, we can say ISLM model. As the heart of Keynesian ISLM model expresses the relationship between money market interest rates and the real output in market for goods and services. Then for the ISLM model, IS cover including national income, interest rate, government investment. We can get from IS cover y equals CY plus IR plus G, where the consumption function CY plus alpha plus beta y as function 1. Investment function IR equal E minus DR as function 2. So function 1 plus function 2, we can get function 4. Next, for LM cover, including the monetary money supply, price level, and money supply, we can get from LM cover L equal M divided P as function 1, where money demand function L plus KY minus HR as function 2. When function 1 plus function 2, we can get function 5. So next, when function 4 plus function 5, we can get Y plus M divided K plus H divided K, which is a function of ISLM model. To sum up, Keynes models are designed to provide a rationale for state intervention in the economic and microeconomic policy, can be derived from a simple Keynes model or complete Keynes model. Then, based on the calculation of relevant historical data in China, the ISLM model, which is more suitable for China, will use data from 2000 year and to 2010 year. First, outline an IS cover that is more in line with China's national conditions. We can see this in Table 1-1 and Figure 1-2. There is a clear negative and positive elasticity of investment during the year, and the elasticity value is bigger than 1, indicating that IS cover is in the normal range. You can see that elasticity of investment to interest rates in 2004 was 5.28, which was not only a positive elasticity, but also a very high elasticity. Therefore, the IS cover is consistent with China's national conditions. Then, draw a suitable LM cover for China. The table 1-3 shows the sensitivity of money demand to interest rate H and the sensitivity of money demand to income K. From Figure 1-4, we can see money demand has a negative and positive elasticity to interest rate in these years, and the elasticity value is bigger than 1. We can see the elasticity of investment to interest rates in 2010 was 1.78, so the LM cover was consistent with China's national conditions. Please refer to 1-7 and 1-8 for ISLM model. So, in general, the ISL model was outlined is within the normal range. It's suitable for China's conditions.
Okay, I will continue to explain the relationship between the slope of the ISLM curve and the relative effectiveness of fiscal and monetary policy. Firstly, I will introduce a factor affecting the slope of the ISLM curve. The slope of the IS curve mainly depends on the sensitivity of investment to the interest rate D and the marginal consumption MPC propensity. The smaller the D value, the lower the sensitivity of I to I, and the steeper the IS curve. The smaller the MPC value, the smaller the return multiplier, steeper the IS curve. The slope of the MM curve mainly depends on the sensitivity of money depend to the interest rate H and the sensitivity of money depend to income K. The smaller the H value, the steeper the IM curve, and the larger the K value, the steeper the IM curve. Next, we analyze the slope of the IS curve and the relative effectiveness of fiscal and monetary policy. The original equilibrium is located at point E with an interest rate of R2 and income Y0. With the increase of money supply, the IM2 moves to the right to IM1, and the new equilibrium position is E2. As can be seen from the figure, when the money supply increases, A small drop in interest rate in a flat IS curve leads to a large increase in income, while a sharp drop in interest rate in a steep IS curve leads to a small increase in income. Thus, the steeper the IS curve, the more effective fiscal policy and the less effective monetary policy. The following analysis is the slope of the LM curve. A general equilibrium is assumed at E when the IS curve moves right to the IS1. The new equilibrium will be set to E2. As can be seen from the graph, a small decrease in interest rate in a flat LM curve results in a large increase in income, while a large decrease in interest rate in a steep LM curve results in a small increase in income. This means that the demand for money on a flat LM curve is more elastic in terms of interest rate. Therefore, when the LM curve is steeper, monetary policy is more effective and the fiscal policy is less effective. Next, we focus on the impact of fiscal and monetary policy on IS-LM curve shifts. First, we analyze the impact of fiscal policy on the shift of IS-LM curve. We take expansionary fiscal policy as an example for analysis. Suppose that E, the interest rate R0 and income Y0 are in equilibrium. An increase in government spending or a decrease in taxation shifts the IS curve upward along with E1. National income will increase from Y0 to Y1. The interest rate increase from R0 to R1. Therefore, expansionary fiscal policy can shift the IS curve to the right, while contractionary fiscal policy can cause the IS curve to shift to the left. The following analysis is monetary policy. We take expansionary monetary policy as an example. Suppose that at E, the interest rate R1 and the income Y0 are in equilibrium. When an expansionary monetary policy is adopted, the Chinese government will increase the money supply and the LM0 curve will be lowered to LM1. Interest rate will fall from R1 to R0, and the national income will rise from Y0 to Y1. Therefore, expansionary monetary policy will push the LM curve downward, while contractionary monetary policy will move upward. The next is the impact of fiscal policy on investment. The Chinese government adopts an expansionary fiscal policy, the S curve shifts to the right, the interest rate rises, the RMB appreciates, and the foreign exchange rate falls. The income from holding this Chinese currency will increase. The attractiveness of the currency has also increased. When a currency appreciates, it means that its value relative to another currency increases, increasing the country's income and the production costs, so increase Chinese foreign investment. The following is the impact of monetary policy on investment. The Chinese government adopts an expansionary monetary policy, the LM curve shifts downward, the money supply increases, interest rate falls, the RMB depreciates, and the foreign exchange rate rises. When one currency depreciates, it means its value relative to another currency falls. It reduces wages and the production costs in the country compared to its foreign counterparts, improves the overall rate of return for foreigners considering investment projects in China, thereby increase foreign investment in China.
Alright, further impact of fiscal and monetary policies on China's domestic investment. We analyze it from two aspects: private investment and government investment. The first is the private investment of China. Private investors are mostly concerned with investment returns, not necessarily market interest rate. Private investment is positively correlated with expected returns. Since 2014, China's monetary policies has become looser. Market interest rates have fallen, and loan growth has accelerated, but private investment has not increased accordingly. Private investment is a substitute for government investment. Implementing a proactive fiscal policies can greatly reduce government investment, and at the same time reflect the strengthening of the policies, so that measures such as tax cuts and fee reductions has an inducing effect on private capitals and increasing the expected rate of return on private investment. The government can choose to reduce direct investment expenditures, use corresponding funds to provide tax reliefs, financial subsidies, or optimize the investment environment for private investment and increase the expected rate of return of private investment, thereby stimulating private investment. This is how private investment makes government investment. For the government investment in China, there is limited room for government investment to grow. Therefore, the only remaining potential is private investment. According to the analysis of this paper, when the economic growth is slow, monetary policies will indeed have an alternative effect on government investment due to liquid private investment. Implementing a proactive fiscal policies can appropriately reduce government investment and at the same time reflect the strength of the policies, reducing tax and fees. Such measures have an inducing effect on private capitals and increase the expected rate of return on private investment. In recent years, under the active fiscal policy, the proportion of government budget investment has increased slightly, pushing the fiscal deficit close to the upper limit. It is necessary to further increase the proportion of private investment and expand the proportion of private investment in government investment. Achieve a win-win situation that promotes economic prosperity and guards against economic risks. Next, let me do the final conclusion. The government's expansionary fiscal policies will lead to higher interest rate, operation of Chinese currencies, a lower exchange rate, and increased Chinese outbound investment. Expansionary monetary policy leads to lower interest rates, depreciation of the RMB, and an increase in foreign exchange rates, which will increase foreign investment in China. Fiscal policies becomes very effective when monetary policies enters a liquid trap. Therefore, the expected returns variable will be added to the investment function, showing that private investment is positively related to the expected return. Therefore, when fiscal policy is close to the boundary, it is necessary to appropriately adjust the implementation of fiscal policy, reduce direct investment expenditures, and adopt income transfer method to increase the expected rate of return on investment, and promote expansion of scale and private investments ratio. The following measures can be taken. Firstly, create a fair and competitive business environment. Second, tax reductions and exemptions to decrease the barriers on enterprise. The third, optimize the directions of investment use. Finally, enhance the investment and use method. That's all about our group's presentation. Thank you.